after my last Bass Sax video, I actually sent it in for repair, and now a whole month later, I have it right back here in my hands. And today I just wanted to make a shorter video talking about what repairs were done to the horn, some of the differences in its playability, and a few details that I might have left out of last video, and some things that I was unsure about. I have some answers to now thanks to some of your guys' comments on my video. So thanks, and stay tuned. So repair-wise, the main issue was actually this brace right here, which was disconnected from this neck receiver tubing right here, and then it would offset this octave key from the little pip, the little hole. So it was pretty much impossible to play middle D with the octave key because it was leaking so bad, and I would have to use palm key D, and that was a little hard to maneuver around sometimes. So now that it's fixed, it's pretty cool. So middle D being difficult to play wasn't really the only issue that little octave key leak caused. Pretty much any other note using the octave key was very difficult to hit, obviously because it's not aligned with the hole, so everything is just leaking. But middle D was especially the hardest note. It was pretty much impossible to hit in the state that the horn was. If you've ever played bass sax before, you would know that just because I can play the upper octave, it doesn't mean that it would necessarily be the most easy thing to do, because a lot of bass saxophones have the issue of a stuffy upper register, or kind of like middle to upper register, where notes like D, E, and F kind of come out as stuffy, and that's kind of because there's honestly a lack of construction in terms of the venting for the upper octave on most bass saxophones. There's only two brands I can really think of right now that are actively trying to combat that issue. And that would be Music Medic, where with Music Medic, they're adding more venting up top on the upper structure of their horn, and they call that the all-track vent. And I guess that's to make the octave venting more smooth. But with this horn and many other bass saxophones, if I play D and notes around it, then you can kind of hear the stuffiness that I'm talking about. So as you can hear, to kind of go over that break from C or C sharp or pretty much any interval below in the lower octave, it kind of is difficult to quickly transition to that upper octave outside of chromatics. I mean, even chromatics, it can be difficult if you're going to D, which with this kind of stuffy vent issue is the hardest note to hit typically. But it's nice to be able to actually play the note now, whereas I couldn't before, and I was having to transition using palm D, which a lot of bass sax players that have working instruments use anyways, because the note is a lot more clear, like I showed in the other video. Kind of just wanted to do another example of what it's like to go over that vent, but kind of in an arpeggiated fashion. And it'll kind of show how it's hard to get consistency when going over that break. But here, I'll play. So kind of what I had said last video, but I pretty much got it completely confirmed that this is an aftermarket edition. Still not totally sure. It's just extra bracing for the rods, I guess. But that was also one of the things that was repaired, because I showed in the previous video that it was disconnected right here, but we got it resoldered, so now it's pretty smooth. It was kind of janky before and like even more clunky and noisy, but Now it's a lot more snappy. Still very heavy movement because of how much it's doing, but it's nice that it plays smoother now, so it's easier to move around that end of the horn. So something I didn't touch on in my last video was actually my setup for bass saxophone, which I'm kind of surprised I don't think anybody asked about, because usually people are curious about that kind of thing, but maybe I sounded so bad that nobody wanted to ask. No, I'm just kidding. But it's pretty straightforward. This is a stock baritone mouthpiece, like an unmarked stock berry piece. I don't know if you could tell, it's even like chipped there on kind of like the bite plate area, the beak there. Kind of silly, but it plays fine. It's a great like large chamber mouthpiece. I mean, it's fantastic for bass sax. It's the best out of every mouthpiece I've tried on bass saxophone. This is the one I like the most, and I get the best sound out of for sure. This ligature is literally an off-brand Rovner ligature. It's not an actual Rovner, but it's similar to like the Rovner Dark or whatever. And then the reed I'm using right now in this video is actually I have the box right here, which is kind of funny. It's a 3.5 Hemke reed. And you're probably thinking like, holy shit, Cameron, 3.5. It's not that crazy because these reeds are a lot lighter. If it was a Van Doren 3.5, then I might be an insane person, but this is closer to just like a 3, to be honest, like a little harder. But yeah, that's my setup if you were curious. Pretty simple. And just one last little tidbit before I end the video is on my last video, I was kind of talking about how I wasn't really sure the complete history of this horn in specific, because I know that this is a stamped horn. It's stamped Vito, but I know the original French maker is like Bionnaire, and then they were under like the Noble name. But this one is stamped Vito, and it seems like a later model because of the high F and everything. And a guy commented on that video, and I think I pinned his comment because it was super interesting. He said he had a Vito catalog, and that this bass sax is essentially a Vito Duke bass sax from the 70s, I believe. So that was a pretty cool fact to learn, and it's pretty sick that he had a brochure that had all the instruments from that period in it. I definitely heard of like the tenor and baritone Duke models, but I guess this is the bass Duke model, and you know, they all have like the one color lacquer and all that stuff. So yeah, I'd seen these bass saxes are everywhere, but this one in specific with the like solid color lacquer and high F and stuff like that, a little more rare, I guess. So that's pretty cool. I don't think they made very many of them, which is also a little cool fact. But yeah, if you guys were interested, there you go. And I guess I'll end the video with a little bit of Scott Robinson's bass sax solo on 3-in-1 by Thad Jones. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one.